for Solanco.
Yeah, such a unique offensive style that has really paid dividends in this first half, and that's going to probably be the biggest point of emphasis for Manheim Central as they go into halftime, trying to make defensive adjustments, is trying to figure out that misdirection, trying to read as well as they can where Solanco's going with the ball.
And try to seal off those edges if you can.
Right.
3rd and 6 now from the 14. Back under center again, Sensenig. Fakes the handoff to Garcia, keeps it himself. He gets around 1 tackle, 2. Are they going to mark him down, or are they going to say he got in?
I thought he made it in. Let's take a look at the replay on this.
It looks like they're going to mark him down about a yard. Oh, no, touchdown.
Yeah, I thought he got in.
All
Look
right.
at how he splits those 2 defenders. There's nobody there. He lowers his shoulder, and, yeah, he's well inside the pylon.
I couldn't tell if a knee or an arm or whatever got down in the process because he got tripped up for a second, but sure enough, he got in just fine, and the Mules continue to run away with this one in the first half. It's 34-0, the extra point pending. Coming here from Brown once again, it's up and it's good, and just like that, 35-0. Solanco comfortably on top here with still 2 minutes left to go in the first half.
All right, we're going to go to a break, and we will be right back. Stick with us.
Energy, powering America's growing economy every minute, every day. As the nation's largest producer of clean and reliable American-made energy, Constellation is wherever you are. From families to corner stores to manufacturers to the biggest data centers. We meet the nation's energy needs by generating emissions-free electricity today and for our future.
Well, it's 35-0 here with 2:06 left to go in the first half, and with that last score, it means that Solanco once again will go another week without having a game where they score less than 35 points. That's their season low. You want to talk about a prolific offense. They also scored 35 points earlier this season in a 35-7 win over Warwick, but every other game they've scored far more than that. Last week they put up 62 on Conrad Weiser. And, well, they're on pace for that with still 2 minutes left to go towards halftime as that one caught in the end zone, and they'll play it there. Manheim Central just looking for answers, whatever that might look like, defensively, offensively, whatever they can find. Try to find some kind of momentum, something to hang the hat on going into halftime.
Yeah, and, you know, I talked about the fact that, you know, they really needed to get the deep ball going to get that defense, you know, kind of freed up a little bit. Well, now, I mean, the defensive linemen for Solanco are just pinning their ears back and going after the quarterback because they've got to pass. They got to try and get some points here.
Capel looking to pass, looking to the right, now trying to take it himself forward and just has to try to blast through the defenders. Just had nothing really good that he liked anyway downfield.
Yeah, just collapsed. I mean, the minute that the pocket collapsed, he could do nothing but just kind of tuck it and run.
And his line, I mean, in this game has given him a decent amount of time. That play certainly was not the case, but just hasn't really been able to find many good targets downfield. Under 90 seconds left to play, 2nd and 7. Gets a target there to the near sideline, and it's a gain of a few more after the connection there with Henninger. So to bring up about 3rd and 1 here for the Barron offense. From the 29-yard line. To move the chains and put together a good drive here going into halftime would be paramount. Already trailing 35-0.
They've got everybody out wide. Oh,
and it's a bad snap up and over the head of Capel. Capel just has to land on it, and that's going to bring up 4th and extremely long for a Barron offense that was just looking to try to move the chains and find something positive going into the half.
Wow, I think he was a little distracted by the receiver running in front of him, too.
That's certainly possible. Sometimes the
It
misdirection.
didn't look like it was that bad a snap.
It's a smart play
And
by Capel, though, not to try to do too much. At that point, just damage limitation.
And so another punt that time, rolling down to about the 47-yard line. That's where Solanco will take it and just look to burn off the remaining 34 seconds of the half here. An excellent first half of action for the Solanco offense, and much to be desired on the Barons side of things here tonight. Glad you could join us on PennLive.com. Of course, our Friday night football coverage all season brought to you by our friends at Constellation Energy. The ball is spotted at the 47-yard line, where the Solanco offense will see how they choose to burn the remaining 34 seconds. Sensenig stepping back, looking down the field, looking for just a big play to end the first half. Airs it out. He has a man wide open, and he'll just waltz right on into the end zone. Wide open for the score was Colin Tolton. And there are some whistles, though, so I have a hunch there's another flag that we didn't see, and that is, in fact, the case. This time I do see the flag, so hold your horses.
Yeah, holding there. Wow.
Well, I mean, you do kind of have to wonder how he was that wide open in that situation. There had to be something fishy going on, and it turns out there was. Not quite the big play that Solanco was looking for. 21 seconds left now.
Tell you what, though, I don't know if Manheim Central's defense was prepared because, they run all that pre-snap motion, misdirection, but they've been running the ball every single time they do that. That time they pull out a pass play with under 40 seconds left in the first half, and, well, they got a good result until it came back with a penalty.
Yeah, like I said, everything's kind of moot here. It still comes down to the fact that Manheim Central's just got to buckle down here these last couple of seconds.
Yeah, you can't let things get any worse going into halftime. So 2nd and 18 here from the 45. Going for a run there, and it's
a fumble.
Gain of maybe 1 or 2, and it is, in fact, a fumble recovered by Manheim Central.
Well, look at here.
8 seconds.
8 seconds. I mean, they call it a Hail Mary for a reason here, so let's see what Manheim can do.
Well, we've seen some wild plays and kind of sequences like this from Manheim Central in the past, but this is not that same team. Let's see what they can pull out of the hat here. From the 46-yard line, 8 seconds left to play here in the first half. Manheim Central finds themselves in the hole 35-0. Looking for a prayer here to find something positive to head into the locker room on. Capel airs it out down the left side. It's a nice pass, and it is picked off, but there's a flag.
Looks like it could be pass interference.
I would have to imagine so.
Let's see. Really airs this out.
And then it becomes a question of the clock, too, at that point.
I can't see that was pass interference.
I mean, I was thrown into double coverage.
Neither one of the defenders was touching the receiver.
So I guess we'll see what they end up coming up with.
Yeah.
The flag has been picked up, but where are they spotting the ball? They're going to spot it right there, so I guess.
No, it can't be a spot. If it's pass interference, it's a 15-yard penalty. It's not a spot foul.
Well, now the officials conferring and taking it back, and Solanco clapping, so I suppose they finally got their way after a bit of a conference there. Well, they did call pass interference. They just said on the PA.
Okay, well,
so all right.
I didn't see a defender, interfering there, but hey, it is what it is. But it's only a 15-yard penalty. It's not a spot foul. So, but it is an untimed down here before we can go to halftime. A half can't end on a defensive penalty.
Still probably going to be maybe not a Hail Mary, but still a long shot throw to the end zone here.
Well, 30 yards here. There's any number of, you can still throw it short of the end zone and hope that the guy gets in. So let's see what happens.
They got 31 yards to go. And the snap not able to be handled and just having to sit on it is Capel. And perhaps a bit of an indicator of the way the first half went for Manheim Central, the way the first half ends. 35-0. The Barons find themselves in the hole against the visiting Solanco Mules. A big offensive showing to open things up for Solanco, and we'll head to our halftime break here on PennLive.com. Again, our broadcast brought to you tonight by our friends at Constellation Energy.
Hey, okay, we're back at halftime. Bruce Badgley here, Constellation Energy halftime, and I'm with Ray DiAugustino, who is a county commissioner here in Lancaster County. And thanks for joining us here. What do you think about the game so far?
I'm a little surprised, actually. 35-0 Solanco. I'm from LS Nation, Lampeter Strasburg, and we played Solanco for the Milk Jug Bowl, first game of the season. And Solanco was tough. I mean, in fact, they were winning with a few minutes left, and LS came roaring back and won by a point. But even so, I mean, Manheim is.
Say what? I mean,
I
call it
know.
a say what game.
And Manheim has a good defense, so I'm not sure. I think for the second half, I think Manheim's going to have to mind the gaps and watch for those sweeps. And on offense, they're going to have to. I think they're having some success with passing. I think they should still continue to try that.
Try and get that right close to your mouth so everybody can hear you. There you go. I always say you want to eat the mic, whatever like that. But anyway, listen, thanks for joining us. And so obviously as a county commissioner, what type of involvement did you have in everything to do with Constellation or anything to do with, power here in Lancaster County?
Well, first of all, we appreciate Constellation being a sponsor and sponsoring the broadcast of the games here in Lancaster County. We love our high school football.
Yes, we do.
It's a big community spirit thing. And look, Manheim's the center of figuratively and directly of Lancaster County. Next week's the Manheim Farm Show. So,
okay.
But we here in Lancaster County appreciate all of our energy providers, but especially Constellation, because they're a big part of the community. They have facilities that are open to the public down in the south. But energy-wise, we're doing pretty well here in Lancaster County, so we're very proud of the fact that we've got some good energy providers.
Yeah, I tell you what, Constellation has been great. They've given me opportunity to go out and take a tour of the facility out there and show what kind of security they've got, the training that's going on. I mean, they have a full plant full of employees, and all they're doing is training, getting ready for that. I guess go live somewhere in 2027.
Right, and that's important to the area. Pennsylvania is actually a net exporter of energy, and having power companies that, provide the service that they do here in Pennsylvania, especially here in Lancaster County, is important. We have a lot of good businesses here in Lancaster County that depend on energy, and that's what really, no pun intended, but powers our economy here.
Yeah, right. And that's all AI just like sucks up energy, and having that positive, energy balance means a lot for businesses to invest in Pennsylvania, right?
Well, we're going to get 2 data centers here, and having more energy to provide for that is important. It's as they're saying, AI is the fourth industrial revolution, and Pennsylvania is primed to really take advantage of that, and especially here in South Central PA and Lancaster County particularly.
Yeah, especially, and Constellation still has the nuclear power plant in Limerick. I mean, down there. So I mean, really a big investment by Constellation, in this area. And what does that mean, for you as a county commissioner, for you to be able to go back to your constituents and talk about the fact of, everybody has energy concerns, but that must mean a lot when you look at a voter in the face and say, you don't have to worry about the fact that the lights are going to fall off,
I think here in Lancaster County we're situated fairly well, actually. So I think that it means a lot when I go to the constituents where they ask me about it, and I say, well, we're pretty good here in this area for energy. And I think that, statewide, we've got to look at the future for energy, but when you have companies making the investment like Constellation and others to provide that energy for our economy and for our homes, it means a lot.
Yeah, it sure does. Well, what do you look for? I mean, getting back to, football or whatever like that, what do you look for in the second half? I mean, 35-0. Boy, that's a pretty tall order for the Barons.
It is, but I think it's not impossible. Again, they've got to really work on that defense, bottle up the Solanco runners. I mean, they're basically just running. They're not really passing a whole lot. So I think they just got to focus on bottling up Solanco. And they go on offense. A couple of big plays, and they're back in this, and that can happen.
Yeah, it sure can. It sure can. I'll tell you what, Ray, hey, listen, thanks for stopping by. I mean,
Absolutely.
you're welcome anytime. I'll make sure that we get in touch when we're in the area again. I mean, maybe we'll put you on, camera and color analyst, too.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, listen, we'll be back in a little while. Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here on PennLive.com. Glad you could join us for some Friday night football action. I'm PJ Rydell along with John Wenger and Bruce Badgley bringing you all the action here tonight. In the first half of action, it was all Solanco. Other than the homecoming court announcements there at halftime, there has not been a lot to really cheer about here for the Barons. As I mean, on defense, Solanco's been having their way against their defense, and I mean the offense really hasn't gotten a lot going either. What adjustments do the Barons have to make here to try to get back into this one down 35-0?
I mean, I started saying it really in the middle of the second quarter. They really need to make Solanco defend the whole field because they were bringing everybody, up to the line of scrimmage, and that even affected Manheim Central in the passing game too because the quarterback didn't have any time to throw the ball when he did drop back to pass. So, and on the flip side, Solanco, all it is right now is a game of keep away.
Yeah, I mean, John was talking about the whole misdirection thing, too. That's really what was their bread and butter there in the first half.
Yeah, they've got a lot of different options between Garcia, Miller. They toss it up to the side, run it up the middle with the fullback. They got all these different misdirections before the snap, and it's keeping Manheim Central's defense on edge, and it's paid dividends. And would not be surprised to see them go back out there and do the same thing here in the second half.
Yeah, they've gotten some big plays from Senseneg on the ground, too, and, of course, 2 really big plays from Burgos to open the game, 2 quick scores that, in the blink of an eye, put Solanco on top, and they most certainly have not looked back. 35-0. Solanco on top here in Manheim Central. Glad you could join us on PennLive.com for our Friday Night Football broadcast, brought to you by our friends at Constellation Energy. You heard that halftime interview as we get set now for the second half of action. This game with certainly some implications, not just in the Lancaster-Lebanon Section 3, but in the District 3 5A rankings overall. Manheim Central coming into this one tonight kind of on the fringes and down 35-0 here to Solanco, who came in ranked number 9th in District 3 5A. Things looking a little precarious here as far as the playoffs are concerned for Manheim Central.
Precarious is an understatement. This is really going to impact them. Margin of victory is not factored into the power ranking, but I can tell you this, if you lose to somebody who's in front of you, that's not good.
Well, I suppose it's better than losing to someone behind you.
Well,
but
losing
a loss to anybody that's ranked is,
especially in 5A. 5A in District 3 is just a gigantic minefield.
Yeah, got a gauntlet to work through, and certainly a big deficit to work back from here, the Manheim Central Barons. And they received the kick to open the game, which means that it's going to be Solanco's offense picking right back up, trying to pick up where they left off here to open the second half, as they will receive. The kick from Manheim Central is up and off, and underway is the second half of action here. Solanco fielding the ball there and brought down finally at about the 25-yard line. On the return, Eric Cook. Cook doing a lot of the return work here tonight for Solanco. A lot of big plays have been a part of the offensive attack here for Solanco. The first score with 8:45 left to go in the first was a 71-yard run from Burgos. He had another run just about 6 minutes later. That was a 39-yard touchdown, and only 11 seconds after that, a pick six by Wesley Bard against the Manheim Central offense. In the blink of an eye, it was 21-0, and now here it's 35-0. So a fresh set of downs, fresh drive to open up the second half on the 24-yard line for the Solanco offense. Senseneg thought about throwing it, gets tripped up there and brought down there in the backfield, trying to make a run for it, and it looks like making the tackle there, Cody Hess.
Well, that's what you call breaking tendencies. I mean,
it was a play for a big loss there for Hess. He pushed him back 5 yards. Hess had a sack last week, making a big play there, trying to send a message here coming out of halftime.
And hey, lost in that end of the first half was a takeaway by this Manheim Central defense on a fumble by Solanco, so maybe they can build on that in the second half.
Yeah, in a game like this, you kind of look for whatever you can to try to key on going into halftime, and another big defensive play for a loss there too. So I'll tell you what, Manheim Central's defense here coming out looking a little different to open the second half. A little extra fire after whatever was said by Coach Hahn in that locker room. Would love to be a fly on the wall there as to what adjustments he's looking to see. It's a game of adjustments. That's what you look for coming out of halftime.
Yeah, but the thing is that's amazing to me is these two plays really are not, or were not in character for Solanco. For trying to throw the ball on first down, that's just not their MO. Sometimes you try and be really the smartest guy in the room and go away from tendencies, and other times you really need to stick with them.
Sensenig under center, keeps it himself, barely able to get another yard or two, and on 3rd and 19, that's going to leave them at 4th and long, deep in their own territory. And the first punt required tonight for Solanco.
And we were talking to Coach Dave Hahn before the game. This is only the 2nd punt of the year for Solanco. So let's see what happens.
Blows your mind, doesn't it?
Let's see what happens. This is game 7. Good boot.
Kick is up, and the punter nailed, so there's a flag as it rolls past the 50 to the 45-yard line. Yeah, the kicker back there, Tristan Brown, got nailed after the kick. And now there's a Manheim Central player down back in the end zone. That's Javier Morales, and boy, if you're Manheim Central, you never want anybody to go down, but that's a key cog in your offense.
Yeah, he's kind of trying to shake it off there.
Still walking under his own power, but certainly wincing. So the flag assessed here after hitting the punter. After again, the first punt of the game here for Solanco, and has a little bit of character with it. 35-0, Solanco on top here early in the 3rd quarter, 9:37 left to play in the 3rd. A big lead for Solanco, the home team, Manheim Central Barons. Looking to build off of that defensive stop to open the 2nd half.
Yeah, not entirely sure whether what's going on here. I think that it is going to be Manheim Central's ball. It's just going to be maybe just a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, the ball rolled all the way to about the 44-yard line. That's where the official has it for the moment. We'll see if that is actually where they end up spotting it. Well, it looks like that's what it's going to be. And so
yeah, it looks like they whatever the penalty was, it got declined. So it's first down, Manheim Central, with just so very important a drive here to open this half.
And really after their best defensive stand. So can you turn that momentum into something on offense and maybe try to produce your best offensive drive of the night? Fresh set of downs from the 44-yard line for the Baron offense. It's a handoff once again, trying to get around that far corner. Not really a ton of room to work with over there for Julius Reed.
Yeah, and penetration will kill a play. And that's what Solanco did there. 2 defensive linemen on that stop.
Or excuse me, that was Aiden Adams making the play. Got confused for a second there. Aiden Adams typically wearing number 7, but he's wearing number 33 tonight. So had to go back to my notes. 2nd and 11 here from the 43. Capel airing it out across the middle. There was a player there, but he was down on the ground before the pass got to him as he was looking there for Morales, so Morales still in the game.
Yeah, thrown behind him a little bit. His feet slipped out from underneath him as he tried to go back for the ball. But that's the thing, too, is, the quarterback there, Capel, he's trying to throw it at spots, where he sees the opening. And he has to hope that the receiver gets to the opening.
So the Manheim Central offense in danger of sputtering out here again after trying to build on a big defensive stop. 3rd and 11 from the 43. And a whistle here from the near side official. And pointing fingers at Solanco.
Offside defense. So that's going to help a little bit here.
Still got a ways to go to move the chains, though, for the Manheim offense. So a 3rd and 6 instead from the 48. Capel, flank to his right, waiting on the snap, 3rd and 6. Stepping back is Capel, looking to the right, trying to roll forward and make something of it. He's got just shy, about 4 yards shy of the line to gain, brought down at about the 50.
I think you have to go for this here.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, anything remotely close to an ability to get, they've got to go after.
Really not been able to get this pass game going. I mean, every time Capel drops back, it looks like he's got that first read he wants, then he's got to hesitate and not able to go there. And then at that point, pressure's starting to get to him, and he was able to make something out of it on that last play. But here we go, 4th down.
Yeah, 4th and 2 on the 48-yard line. A big play here for the Barons to try to get back into this one, down 35-0. Capel, shovel pass to the near side, trying to get enough for the first down. Morales, and he's going to be short. He's still a yard short.
Not even close. He might have gotten thrown for a loss. Boy, I mean, he was almost 9 yards. When he got the pitch, he was almost 9 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Just couldn't find a hole to work through the line there. And so another offensive drive sputters out for Manheim Central following their best defensive stand of the game. Remains 35-0. Turnover on down. Solanco taking over at their own 48s.
Wow. I mean, that really hurts for the Barons. But for Solanco, look at here. I mean, looks like a passing formation with 2 wides to the top.
Well, after the way that first drive of the second half went, it's interesting to see what they pull out of the bag here. It's another run play, a little bit more like what we saw in the first half. A gain of about 2 or 3 for Garcia. Johnny Garcia continuing to be a key element of the offense for Solanco. Maybe not as much tonight, but certainly throughout the season. Program's all-time leading rusher after a performance last week.
You know, there have been a lot of stars in this game for Solanco. We're going to have to pick a most valuable player here, Mr. Rydell.
Yeah, constellation player of the game. I think a few have emerged as contenders. Bit of a direct snap situation there, and the line moving backwards by about 2 yards. That Manheim Baron line collapsing and converging once again.
Well, same thing with Solanco, as I talked about Manheim Central. You know, Manheim Central right now, I mean, they are just like selling out against that dive play. Sensenig, he's had success when he's done that, as John aptly pointed out, misdirection and kind of fake that handoff and either go around the edge or pitch it to Burgos.
Yeah, there's not been the same misdirection here in the first 2 drives of the second half. On 3rd and 7, Sensenig keeps it, flips it to the right, finds a man. Burgos again taking it up past the 40-yard line, and that's going to be enough to move the chains.
That play is so difficult to stop.
Well, especially because Sensenig held on to it for as long as he did, then shoveled it. You've seen the way Sensenig can make big plays with his own legs, and then you have to try to keep an eye out on Burgos, too, on the near sideline. Yeah. Pick your poison.
Yeah, that's the difficult part, is that rather than to really attack the ball, Manheim Central almost had to just kind of shuffle to the outside.
Try to find a way to seal off that edge again, but they get the first down. Fresh set of downs here for the Mules. Hand off to Garcia. Garcia blasting forward. He continues going, and he's got a whole lot of room in front of him. Dances away from the defender, and it's a 39-yard score. Garcia.
Just great downfield blocking. I mean, you saw blocks being thrown all the way at the 25-yard line, and Garcia just outruns the defense. Oh, my goodness.
A little more patient in terms of the time taken off the clock on the first score of the quarter here for Solanco. It took all the way down to the 3:22 mark. The extra point is up, and it is good. Whew. And so with that, it is now a 42-0 ball game.
That is, well, if this isn't the say what game in District 3, I'm surprised. I haven't looked at any District 3 scores, but I can tell you unequivocally that there is no way anybody was thinking Solanco was going to come into Manheim Central and throw up 42 on them. And Manheim Central right now with the goose egg.
It has been an impressive performance, a statement game thus far for Solanco. A team that put up 62 points last week, 49 2 weeks ago, 35 3 weeks ago, 42 and 49. Those are the final totals for Solanco, each of their last 5 games on their little 5-game win streak. They lost the first game of the season 45-44 to Lampeter Strasbourg, and they have not looked back at all.
And you know, we had a conversation with Coach Cox before the game. You know, he is one of the most intense guys you're ever going to see on a football field. You know, he kept everything pretty tight to the vest, but he did talk about all the different weapons that he had on offense and alluded to that, and they have been on display tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, a whole lot of different weapons making their presence felt here tonight. I mean, some of the ones that you really, really knew about going in. If you didn't know anything about Solanco, you at least kind of had an idea about Garcia. You know, kind of looking at the reports over the last few weeks, and he just scored there to make it 42-0. But a bunch of other guys really chipping in here, a whole team effort. And I don't even feel that Solanco's gotten all that deep in the bag of tricks yet either. I mean, you talk about the misdirection, but the misdirection's been kind of the same thing.
It's a function of their offense is that they're going to fake and move. I mean, you know, and
this is good work along the line. And
yeah, a great speed. I mean, you know, Burgos and Garcia have run away from the defense.
They've certainly gotten some help from their line, giving them a little bit of room to work with, but they most certainly have had to run with it and have done their part. 2:30 left to play here in the third quarter. It's a 42-0 lead for Solanco, having their way here tonight against Manheim Central. 2nd and 10 from the 20. Capel rolling to his left, just has to get rid of it to try to avoid another sack. And now, I mean, again, as much as we talk about the Solanco offense, the Solanco defense here too, just all over the Manheim offense.
Well, and things you can see on your screen there, we've got a running clock. So this game is going to just really fly by here. And Manheim Central here just kind of licking their wounds. And, boy, it's regroup time for Coach Hahn and these Barons.
So 3rd and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Capel looking for somewhere to air it out. A nice little threaded needle pass up through the middle, and that's going to be enough for the first down. What a hard-fought moving of the chains there. Cody Hess, perhaps unsurprisingly, right at the middle of that. A really nice pass from Capel. Found his man, threaded the needle, and that moves the chains.
Yeah, finally had that first look he's been looking for the previous play. Again, it's just not there for him. The Solanco's defense does a good job, but able to get something there, and it's first down again.
Under a minute left to play here in the third quarter with that clock keeping on moving. It's a handoff there and another good gain. A nice little run there from Aiden Adams.
Yeah, and you know, this is a really difficult juncture of the season to have, you know, let's be real here, a loss like this for the Barons. I mean, going down to obviously one of your rivals, basically a team that for all practical purposes came into your turf, and, you know, this being the de facto Section 3 Lancaster-Lebanon League, you know, championship game, you know, put a whole lot of whoop on you.
Capel rolling to the left, trying to air it out down the left side, right through the middle of two defenders, but unable to connect.
And that's going to do it for quarter number 4. Wow.
Solanco adds one more there in the third quarter. That's a touchdown thanks to Garcia, a 39-yard run. And on to the fourth quarter we go. Again, glad you could join us as we get ready to bring you back up into the broadcast booth here at Manheim Central. Really just all Solanco here tonight in this one, as you mentioned. I mean, this is pretty much the Section 3 kind of championship game, for lack of a better way of putting it. And Solanco asserting their dominance here tonight.
They sure have. I mean, and, they've run the ball so effectively, and there really hasn't been any answer by that Manheim Central offense to counteract the big plays that Solanco has put forth tonight.
Yeah, man, it's a game of adjustments, and whatever adjustments Manheim Central's been trying to make, they're just not finding the answer. That misdirection we've talked about, the line, the speed, I mean, that combination, that's just tough to really have any kind of answer for, and Manheim Central's certainly still looking for it.
And again, thanks to Constellation Energy for their support. Had Dan DiAugustino from Lancaster County Commissioner, and we were talking football, but then also talking energy, and that was a lot of fun at halftime. We missed our buddy Dave Marcheski, but I'm sure Dave will be joining us here before the end of the year, at some point. But
he's still wearing his jersey somewhere.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, when you see somebody at the Wawa or the Sheets wearing that Constellation jersey, it's either me or Dave Marcheski.
A big run by Capel was enough to move the chains. So the Manheim offense having one of their better sequences of the game here as we transition into the fourth quarter.
I have to believe that Coach Cox has got some of his reserves in there. Running clock. Usually that kind of signals, that you play some of your second and third teamers. Those guys put in the work too. They deserve the opportunity to play when they can.
Capel down the left side, looking for a target over there, but really nobody home except for another potential play there by the back. It was Isaiah Wright who was kind of right there.
It's just tight windows. Every time they throw the ball, it's just tight windows, and Capel's having to be borderline perfect with his throws and his timing, and it's asking a lot of him right now.
And the interesting thing to me is really Solanco has been playing a zone. They've kept everything in front of them. And that's really been difficult.
Yeah, just about nobody has been able to get really open down the field. And I like the way you put it, John, just tight windows, just demanding perfection in an environment that is not at all conducive to it, as Capel knocked down behind the line.
Yeah, real nice job there by Vince Henry. Plays off a block and chases down the quarterback. Watch this. There he is. Good play by Henry. He's pumped. So running clock down to 10:20, and again, PJ and I will have to come up with a player of the game, the Constellation player of the game, and we'll announce that as we wind our broadcast down.
3rd and 14 here for the Manheim Central offense. He airs it down that far sideline, and another flag flies. Are we going to have another pass interference against Solanco?
Yeah, I think that was a good call by the official. A lot of bumping and grinding as they're going down there. And, boy, I tell you what, that is a tough call. Schneider Leonard was really doing what he thought was a good job on defense, but he got flagged.
Yeah, Morales, the intended target down that near sideline. We're going to move the chains since it was 3rd and 14 at the snap. And so the Barons, encroaching in territory they haven't really seen here tonight on the offensive end.
The interesting thing for me is, there are rules regarding, running clock and what have you. They seem to vary sometimes from field to field on when it runs and when it doesn't.
It's a handoff there to Hess. Hess taking it down to about the 36-yard line. I'll tell you what, the way they've been able to limit Hess, certainly a big part of the success for the Solanco defense here tonight.
Well, that and the fact that they've had pressure on Logan Capel all night long. He hasn't been able to breathe in the pocket, and that's why they're having to roll him out. And even that, it's so difficult to throw when you're running full speed like that.
2nd and 7, and he somehow escapes getting wrapped up. A good escape there by Capel to pick up another 2 yards. I thought for sure that was going to be a loss of 5 or more.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, a great job. This is what you call being a competitor. This guy is not going down no matter what. There's another tackle he breaks.
I mean,
Just moves upfield, puts his shoulder down. That's a competitor, gang.
He didn't even have time to look up for an open receiver. They were on him just about the same time he took the snap, and for him to get out of that, pretty impressive.
Yeah, just as you were talking about all the pressure on him and how little time he had.
Right
Works a
on
little
cue.
Houdini act on that play to make it 3rd and 5. Just to step back again, airs it out, finds a man up the middle. Touchdown. Manheim Central is on the board on a 35-yard pass up the middle. Capel finds his man in Cody Hess.
Yeah, right up the seam, and that was just a blown coverage. But that's the zone aspect there. He thought that he had help behind. He didn't, and there's the score.
So with 8:17 to go here in the 4th quarter, Manheim Central is on the board. A receiving touchdown there by Cody Hess from Capel. And the attempt at the extra point
No
goes
good.
for naught, and so it remains 6 on the board. 42-6. The goose egg is off the scoreboard here in Manheim Central, but it's still Solanco up big.
Well, and you can't tell me that they didn't want that to retain the shutout. I mean, I think that.
Well, yeah, you got to take pride in that, and I know the defenses love to be able to pitch a shutout, but their shutout evades them for another week. Solanco holding Conrad Weiser to 20 last week. Warwick and Eastern York to 7 in the previous 2 weeks. Ever since they gave up those 45 to Lampeter Strasburg, they really put the clamps on the defensive end of things. And they rate 17 away from a shutout here tonight, but Manheim Central's Cody Hess and Logan Capel say no more.
I tell you what, the looking at this Solanco defense and the speed that they've got on offense, and in Burgos and Garcia, Chase Sensenig, boy, really smart at quarterback.
Anderson Miller in there too, yeah.
I tell you what, Solanco is going to be a team. It's going to be a tough out in the postseason, that's for sure. Because clearly they're on their way to the postseason.
And a big return here, stopped just short of the 40 on a run by Eric Cook.
Hey, here come our T-shirts, Constellation Energy T-shirts getting passed out by the cheerleaders. So actually they had somebody go up in the stands and hand them out rather than, some of those things are wound pretty tight. They get hit in the head, that could be a problem.
Better be looking.
They tell you to pay attention. So, and throwing out the little mini footballs as well. So thanks to all the Manheim Central cheerleaders for sending those out, and thanks to our buddy Dave Marcheski and Constellation Energy for the giveaways.
So Solanco back on the offensive end of things at the 39-yard line, under 7:30 left to play here in the 4th. Going for a run right up the gut, but really nowhere to work with. Maybe a gain of a yard if that.
Yeah, starter's still in there. I mean, Sensenig's still in there at quarterback. Sometimes, you want to try and look. Most coaches have a strategy of, obviously developing players, and sometimes in situations like this, the long-term benefit of having some of your reserves in there outweigh, just trying to run the clock out.
And still sticking with their guys are the Mules. Sensenig keeps it himself, runs for another 2 or 3. And that'll bring up 3rd down. 6:30 left to play here in the 4th quarter. 42-6 as a flag flies by the Manheim Central logo.
Yeah, what is that
at the
all
50-yard
about?
line.
Somebody said something.
Had to have been extracurriculars. That was well after the play.
Well, this has to feel good, for the Mules.
Penalty is against the Mules.
You talked about in the open that Solanco had won, 2 of the last 3 meetings, but Central leads the series 58-6. So, and Central had won 30 of the first 32. So this is definitely not the norm, especially for Solanco coming in to Manheim Central and doing this kind of a whooping. I wonder if there's ever been a margin of victory this great in this series between Solanco, for Solanco over Manheim Central.
And last year it was 33-7. This year a larger margin at 42-6 thus far. Still 6:32 left to play. Is a 3rd and 22 for the Solanco offense. It's a handoff there to Garcia. Garcia taking it for a handful, and he'll be stopped short of the 35-yard line. Solanco, got to think they got some chips on the shoulder coming into this matchup. I mean, you talked about the overall history, but they certainly have had the edge in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't see that we're going to see the Solanco starters anymore tonight. I mean, they're needed in other games rather than this one right now.
He's starting to look ahead to the rest of the schedule for Solanco. Next week, they'll be looking ahead to Cocalico, then Fleetwood and Garden Spot to round out the regular season.
Yeah,
Manheim
very,
Central.
very favorable schedule for the Mules.
Yeah, Manheim Central next week. They got Fleetwood, then they got Garden Spot and Warwick. So next week, their final home game of the regular season.
Band still tooting up the tunes.
Always a good environment here at Manheim Central. Always fun to come out here and be a part of this community. I mean, just driving through Manheim, you see the posters for the players on every telephone pole. You can tell how much this community cares about this team. And, to a degree, they take a game like tonight personally.
Yeah, they certainly do. But you can bet that Dave Hahn's taking it personally. And, they're going to get back out here. It's going to be a tall order for the Barons, I think, to get into, the District 3 tournament. And even that, it's going to be, a pretty low seed. But, hey, just a couple years ago, the 15th seed Cocalico won the District 3 5A championship. So you never say never. And you can always point to those instances where teams, have come back. And that was the year not only did Cocalico win the district championship, they made it to the state semifinal in 5A. So
airing it out to the far side, that one batted away. A little bit of extracurricular there, too, as the pass intended for Dylan Henninger. And a new man in at quarterback for Manheim Central. As you got Gavin Janigan in there now, calling the plays. 3rd and 5 coming up for him.
Yeah, sometimes it's tough. That gray on scarlet isn't, it doesn't really jump out at you sometimes.
Well, you do have to appreciate, though, that Manheim Central puts the last names on the jerseys. That is something unique, especially at this level. And again, tells you just how much pride they have for their club here. Janigan hands it off. Taking it to right about the line to gain. Is he going to have enough to move the chains, though? Not quite. They're going to spot him just short after the run there by Aiden Adams. So it'll be 4th and 1. 4th and perhaps a little less than 1. Clock down to 2:45.
And if you're Solanco, my, oh my, look at the just the momentum boost going into the last quarter of their season.
Yeah, certainly a feel-good kind of game for Solanco, as that one's enough to move the chains for sure. all on fourth down. Manheim Central Barons keep on rolling. I mean, a feel-good game for Solanco in so many different ways. In a rivalry game like this to set themselves up for the postseason, but for their brother Frank Lucarino too, losing his dad last week, makes these games mean just a little bit more. And knowing that Solanco sideline is perhaps a little bit quieter here this week.
Yeah,
certainly feels good to get a win like this on the road. And
yeah, we called Frank's name. He's that big nose tackle number 71 out there, and all feeling for him and his family.
But still out there playing like I'm sure his dad would want him to.
Yep. Frank's a big boy. I mean, there aren't any heights and weights on the Solanco roster, but
some of them don't need him.
Frank doesn't, that's for sure. I mean, if he isn't pulling close to 3 bills,
I don't need to see the numbers to know not to mess with them. I'll say that much.
Yeah, Frank Lucarino there, number 71, right there. Played a whale of a game there on that defensive line.
The linemen don't always get the credit that they deserve, but he's certainly a part of a dominant effort here tonight for Solanco. And a nice pass and catch there, and a whole lot of contact too, but able to hang on. What a nice catch.
It was. He was just kind of stumbling back. He had to change direction while the ball was in the air. Nice job.
You know the hit's coming too, so you got to keep your concentration. We know a lot of receivers tend to struggle with that at times, but he didn't there.
And so now 30 seconds left on the clock. Manheim Central just, again, something to hang the hat on going into the remainder of their schedule. As Janigan's pass to the outside line is received and handled there.
That's going to be, unless Manheim calls the timeout, they're going to want to get a touchdown here.
Yeah, again, trying to just find some positives as Morales came down with that one on the near sideline. So Solanco, a big game here tonight, though, improved is 6-1. Manheim Central, meanwhile, will fall to 4-3 overall in league standings. Solanco moved to 3-0. Manheim Central, their first loss in league play, they fall into 2-1, and this will be a big boost to Solanco in the District 3 5A rankings. A big win in so many ways here at Manheim Central tonight as the October weather really starting to set in. And with that cooler weather, these games meaning all that much more, whether it's playoff implications, whether it's the personal reasons we talked about with the Lucarinos. It's always a pleasure to be a part of them, and certainly glad that we get to be a part of it with you here on PennLive.com.
And who's our most valuable player?
Well, I think it's got to be Burgos, right?
Yes,
it's got to be Chris Burgos for Solanco, our consolation player of the game.
He set the table, really, with those 2 long runs in the first quarter of 71 and 39 yards. So senior Chris Burgos Wise will be our player of the game.
And our consolation player of the game, as you said it, really set the table for Solanco in a dominant effort here tonight. They lead 42-6, and in all likelihood, the last or second to last play coming here for the Manheim offense. Looking for something they can hang their hat on and go to work at this week in practice to build on for next week. And a sack there brought down.
And that was, who was that? Number 11?
Spangler.
Wow.
Spangler came down with that play, and the clock again stops at 13.
Yeah,
so another timeout taken by Manheim Central.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's don't tell that defense that it's 42-6.
Nope.
They're playing like the first series of the game, firing off, and that's just years and years and years of Manheim Central kind of owning the Mules, and it's all coming out here tonight.
Flipping the script here of history, the Solanco Mules, a dominant game here tonight over their rival Manheim Central, setting them up well. And as far as the rest of the season and, of course, beyond the regular season goes, a big game here tonight with big implications. As far as the scoring has gone, it's been a team effort for Solanco. We talked about those first 2 touchdowns for Burgos setting the table. 11 seconds after Burgos' second touchdown, it was Bard that picked up the pick 6, made it 21-0. And by the time it was all said and done in the first half, it was a 35-0 lead for Solanco. They've scored once in the third quarter. A 39-yard run for Garcia made it 42-0. And finally a pass to Cody Hess from Capel got Manheim Central on the board. The extra point was no good, and the whistle's there as Solanco takes a timeout here too. Sure, why not?
Why not? Exactly. There's 13 seconds left. You know what?
Did they think I didn't have enough time to read off the scoring summary? I appreciate the courtesy, but I finished.
You know, and that's just the way that Coach Cox goes about his business. It's all compartmentalized. You're not looking at the score. You're looking at the down, distance, and situation. And that's, pretty interesting that that Solanco calls a timeout with 13 seconds left. But you know what? If there's anybody that's going to do it, I would bet it would be Coach Anthony Cox.
Forget the scoreboard. Forget next week. Stay in the right now. It certainly is the MO that he plays with. And with 13 seconds left, Manheim Central on the 15-yard line, 3rd and 8. Jenninger airs it out to the right side, nearly hauled in there in the corner. A nice effort by Morales. And that winds the clock on down. That does it for tonight. 42-6, a dominant effort here for Solanco as they defeat the Manheim Central Barons. And looking ahead to next week, Solanco's look to keep the momentum moving on an excellent season against Cocalico. It'll be at 7 o'clock on Friday. Meanwhile, Manheim Central will be home for their homecoming game at 7 o'clock on October 10th as well. And so for John Wenger, Bruce Badgley, myself, PJ Rydell, your player of the game here tonight is Chris Burgos for Solanco. And we'll go ahead and land the plane now. Glad you could join us on PennLive.com, our Friday night broadcast brought to you by our friends at Constellation Energy. Have a great rest of your night and a great rest of your weekend.